Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to give a review of Black Ops Cold War's Season 4's content because, we've had it for about a week now, a little bit more than a week, and I've been having a lot of time playing some of the new maps, using some of the new guns and such. I thought I would share some of my thoughts on it because some of you might be interested, so why the hell not? Just to give a quick overview of the state of Cold War as a whole right now when it comes to the content within it, as well as the gun balance and how the game feels, I think Cold War is in a pretty solid spot. The only big issue I still have with this game has to do mainly with the lack of things to grind for, and that has a big thing to do with the microtransaction system. I still think this game would benefit greatly with some sort of a shop system with a separate currency, separate from COD points, or maybe even just a way to earn COD points just by playing the game. I really don't feel like there's much for me to work for. I've already gotten most of the attachments on every gun. Of course, I can always go for DM Ultra, but I don't care that much to go for it, at least right now. That's really the only thing I can go for. And then you have the Battle Pass, which, like I've said many times before, I find Battle Passes to be incredibly boring because it's the same items for everyone. Everyone's getting the same things at the same time, at the same rate. That's kind of boring to me. I want to make choices. I want to decide different cosmetics that I might want to purchase rather than having to get the same thing that everyone else gets. And the shop items, way too expensive. I'm not trying to spend $20 on a skin, so sometimes I do, of course. I'll admit I break a lot of times that I end up doing it, but I don't want to normally do that for that many different bundles. And there's so many awesome cosmetics in the shop that most people are never going to buy, and it's a shame because they're working so hard on these cosmetics. You can tell they are beautiful. The art team kills it. So many awesome things there, so I definitely got to give them credit there, but the fact that most people are never going to use them kind of sucks. I just think it'd be fun to have some free grindable ways to earn some of this stuff and make it really hard. I don't really care how hard it is, but at least give us the option and the opportunity to go for it. That's still probably my biggest issue with the game currently. Of course, skill-based matchmaking still is obnoxious, but it doesn't ruin the game. It really doesn't. You can find ways to manipulate it in terms of, not doing that great for a couple games in a row. You don't have to go try hard every game. If you were the type of player who goes try hard every single game, then yeah, you're going to get into hard lobbies all the time, but honestly, that's your own fault. Just realize how the system works, and you can figure it out, right? If you're complaining about playing against tryhards, but you're a tryhard yourself, I mean, come on, it's putting you up against yourself pretty much. Regardless, I don't like skill-based matchmaking, but it definitely doesn't ruin the game for me. Score streak system is one thing I've been kind of wonky on for a while. I don't think it's bad necessarily. It's only really bad in the longer modes because you're basically guaranteed to get your streaks at that point. Now let's talk about the new maps. Of course, there's Hijacked, which there's not really much to say about it because it's Hijacked from Black Ops 2. You all know how Hijacked plays. You all know it's a pretty damn good map. Does it play good in Cold War? Relatively well. I would say there's definitely a few issues with the map in terms of that underground area. I still don't like that underground area, I gotta say. I think Black Ops 3's Hijacked is actually a lot better because it blew off the side of the map, so you can actually do a little exo jump to that little downstairs area. I just don't like it because there's only one way in, or well, two ways in and one way out, but for each spawn there's only one way in, one way out, and I just don't really like that. I think it just allows people to manipulate the spawns way too often to the point where spawns get kind of messy on this map, but it's still a fantastic map even with that because of just how it flows in the middle area and how gunfights usually go down within that middle area. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely an iconic map, so yeah, it has a pretty good place here in Black Ops Cold War. But when it comes to the brand new map Collateral, of course this is a 12v12 and a 6v6 map. There's the combined arms version and then the smaller condensed strike version. In terms of the combined arms version, I was only able to play it like once or twice because it's only available in the combined arms playlist, and they don't have a 24/7 playlist for it right now, which is stupid. I don't know why they don't have a 24/7 playlist for it right now. They do have a 24/7 playlist for the 6v6 version, but not for the combined arms one. But when I did play it, it was okay. It's a bit too big, I feel like. Combined arms for the most part usually plays a lot better when they're on smaller maps like Miami, Cartel, and even Armada isn't that big. But like especially Crossroads and now of course Collateral, it's a little big. If you're okay with a slower paced match, it's fine. It definitely plays better on Assault or Hardpoint, but when you're playing Combined Arms Domination, it's not as fun. It definitely is a lot slower paced, which to me is not as enjoyable as it would be otherwise. And then we have Collateral Strike, the 6v6 version, which of course is just a cutoff section of the Combined Arms version. I love this map. I think this map is actually pretty incredible. I've seen a lot of people not liking it, and it just comes down to the same thing that I feel like happens for every single map we've ever seen. People judge these maps, especially in the beginning, based on how good or bad they are at the map. That's not like a random speculation I have. Like, it's pretty obvious that's just how people work. They're going to enjoy a map more if they're having a good time on it, and most likely they're going to be having a better time on it if they're getting more kills and doing better. That's why it's really hard to judge these maps quickly, and why I give it at least a week or two before I even review them, because it's really hard to just give your opinions on new maps right after they come out. It's not easy. I can kind of tell when I'm going to like a map based on the flow and the design. That's possible, yes, but at the end of the day, how I perform on it will definitely tailor my experience greatly, which is why I need to get as many different games on it so I can do bad a lot and also do good a lot, because I don't do good every single game. There's some games I don't do that well, and I've been able to get enough matches on this map to the point where I've basically performed every way you can possibly perform. I've done really, really well, I've done decent, I've done, you know, just okay, and I've done bad even. Not really that bad, because, I mean, I don't really go that negative, like, ever, really. But for the most part, I've done pretty much every type of, type of performance you'll do on a map. So I don't feel like my opinion on this map is going to be biased in either direction. But as it stands, the map has a pretty general layout to it. It kind of reminds me of Crossroads Strike a lot. It's very, very similar to Crossroads Strike. And it's not a bad thing, because Crossroads Strike is an incredible map. So I'm not really mad about that. I don't think many people are. It's definitely a small map, so if you don't like small maps, you're probably not going to like it that much, which is fine. Personally, for me, I love those smaller, fast-paced maps that aren't too small like Shipment, but aren't too big either. It's a pretty solid size, and I really do have a lot of fun on it. It's very easy to get like really high kill gameplays on it, and just with the Cold War gameplay and the movement and the time to kill, I feel like it just plays so incredibly well, and I feel like every lobby I get into, no one's really camping, everyone's running around trying to play the objective, and especially because of just a lot of the systems in this game. This is not a very campy Call of Duty. I don't see people camping generally, and if they do, they're not really in a good position usually. Most of the camping spots on this map are not something you can just easily stay in and do really well in. You're gonna have people come up to you and kill you from a lot of different angles, because there's always a decent amount of flanking routes, but not too many to the point where the map feels random. You know what I mean? I just love how this map plays. It's really hard to put it into words, but I don't know, try it out for yourself. There's a 24/7 playlist for it right now. I'm definitely gonna go back to playing more of it soon, because it's one of those maps that you're gonna get a lot of kills on if you're a good player, so that's great. Now, the part that I'm really disappointed within this season is the new guns. I don't like the new guns. I don't really like the new guns at all. So we have the C58, which is basically like a G3. It's a full auto G3, the new AR. It's crap. It's really good in Warzone. I'm not talking about Warzone in this video, really, so we're not going to mention that. Actually, really good in Warzone. But in multiplayer, it probably is the worst gun in the game right now. The worst AR for sure. Out of all the guns in the game, maybe not the worst. But for the assault rifles, it's the worst assault rifle by far. It shoots slow. It's not even that good in terms of damage. It has some bouncy recoil, so you're not going to be hitting your targets that well. And it just doesn't have even good handling. So like basically everything that you want in a gun, it just doesn't have. It doesn't have like anything. The only thing that maybe it has is a decent damage range at like a range. But even then, it doesn't matter, because the recoil is kind of bouncy and the overall damage isn't that great either. So it's just not good. It is one of the worst guns in the game. It is so hard to use. I struggled with it a lot. I thought maybe I was just getting bad at the game, but then I realized on Twitter, a lot of other people agree with me. This gun is not very good in multiplayer, and I realized, yeah, there's really not many attachments that are going to make it much better. So the C58 either needs a buff, or it's just going to be one of those throwaway guns that I'm never going to use again after finishing up some of the attachment grinds for it. Pretty bad gun. The MG82, however, is actually pretty good. It was definitely OP in Warzone for a little bit, but then of course they nerfed it. But in multiplayer, it's pretty good. It just is a little slow, so you're gonna have to, kind of aim down sights a little bit more often, like around corners, like pre-fire and stuff. But I think it has a place in multiplayer. I think it fits well. Most of the LMGs are going to be pretty slow. That's just how LMGs are, so I can't really complain too much there. But it's not a gun I'm going to use that often because it's an LMG. You know what I mean? So I don't get that excited for new guns when they're not ARs or SMGs. I really don't usually care for the other ones, and the MG82 just doesn't really do much for me to the point where it's going to make this game that much better. And then the nail gun I was really excited for, but unfortunately the nail gun has no attachments, right? That kind of just makes the gun worthless in my opinion, because it's just not fun. I don't want to level it up even. It's just like you're not getting anything for it. You're literally just unlocking levels for nothing. You can get camos, sure, but because there's no attachments available, It's like, what's the point? And I don't think it would be that hard for them to add attachments. They only need like a couple of attachments. You could have like maybe an attachment that makes it so it shoots out 3 like nails at a time. That'd be kind of cool, like a 3-round burst nail gun or something. I don't know. They could have had a million different ideas for attachments, and they didn't have to like necessarily make the nail gun change in design, because it's usually the reason why they're not going to do a bunch of crazy attachments, because then they have to actually change how the guns look for each attachment, because that's something they do in the game with the gunsmith, is that attachments change how the guns look. For the nail gun, I wouldn't really care if they just put attachments and they just didn't have the gun change at all. All it would have to change is the stats. It wouldn't have to change how it looks. And in terms of changing the stats, I don't think it's that hard to change that. You know, if you want to make an attachment that increases the aim down sight speed, increases the damage, increases the mag count or something, you don't have to change how the gun looks, just change the stats on the gun. I don't think it's that difficult. So, of course, they would have to balance it out properly, and that might take some more time, but at the end of the day, it's just kind of a throwaway gun to me because it's a special weapon and there's no attachments on it. So I don't really care, just like the crossbow, just like the ballistic knife. It's fun to use every now and then, but it's not something that's going to make the game any much better. Then we have the new score streak, which is of course the hand cannon, and I think the hand cannon is a pretty damn fun score streak. I really want them to add score streaks that aren't weapons though, because they've given us the death machine and a couple other score streaks like that. I just kind of want to see more, I don't know, like AI controlled ones, I guess, things that you just kind of call in and just kind of take control, kind of like attack dogs. Don't know why we haven't seen attack dogs yet. That would be an awesome treat if we got that within the next season. I want to see some more score streaks that are a little more interesting. I find this one to be a lot of fun, don't get me wrong, but I just want some more AI controlled ones, because I find AI controlled streaks to usually be the ones I prefer running, because I don't have to worry about them. I just call them in, let them get kills, and I think it's a lot more fun that way. The hand cannon though is really powerful. It's basically just the Annihilator from previous Call of Duty games that we've already seen, and I like those type of weapons because they take skill. You have to be kind of accurate with it. If you're not accurate with it, you're not gonna be getting kills with it. But it can dominate lobbies if you can use it in its correct form, and I have a lot of fun using it. So it's a good addition to the game, but like I said, I want some more AI controlled streaks as well. So as a whole, when it comes to the multiplayer content within Black Ops Cold War Season 4, I think the maps are great and the guns kind of meh. That's basically the overall consensus I have for this season. I think there's definitely some more fun to be had within Cold War though. I do think this game plays really well, and it's a really fun COD to just destroy lobbies in, which is what I play it for. But again, in terms of grinds and things to work for, there's just not much there. And I feel like that's what's losing a lot of people from this game, is because there's really nothing for them to do. And if, let's say they don't have fun in the game as a whole, what are they going to do other than that? At least some other Call of Duties that maybe they don't have a lot of fun in, those are at least something to grind for that'll convince them to come back and play a little bit more. But this game doesn't really have a grind, so if you don't have fun and there's no grind, like, what is there for you to do? You know what I mean? Personally, I have enough fun in this game that it doesn't really ruin the experience, that I don't have a bunch of things to grind for, but it makes me not want to play as much. I feel like I play for 2 hours, I'm like, okay, I played enough for today. There's no point in me going back for that day. I don't feel the drive, the push to play it. I feel the drive to play Black Ops 4 or Infinite Warfare or World War II, because those games have incredible grinds with a ton of different things to work for. And it's not like the things you unlock are that great anyways, they're just usually cosmetics for the most part. Sometimes in Infinite Warfare you have the weapon variants and such, but for the most part, yeah, it's just cosmetics. But at least it gives you something to do. Even if the reward isn't that great, at least it's something to do other than just play matches and get kills casually. Of course, casuals don't give a crap, and that's probably why they don't really prioritize this kind of stuff, because they know it doesn't affect the majority of players. Majority of players are not going to play Call of Duty more than once a week. They're just not. They're going to play once on the weekend or something with their friends every now and then. That's all they're going to do. So they don't really care that much about the players who play 8 hours a day, which I don't know why people do that, but some people do. They don't really care that much about those guys. Those guys are going to spend money on the game anyways, so no matter what they add to the game, it's not going to change that much for their experience. But regardless, I'm really excited for the rest of this Cold War's life cycle. Of course, we have Season 5 and 6 left. A lot more zombies content coming as well. Even for Season 4, we still have more stuff to come, so it's definitely not over yet. We still have another zombie map to get in Season 4. We have Rush as a multiplayer map that will be coming. We have some more guns coming as well. Very excited for all that. And I'm also very excited for the Vanguard reveal to see what Call of Duty Vanguard is going to be like. Call of Duty as a whole, like I said, I still enjoy it a lot. I know a lot of people give it shit. I think the best way to enjoy Call of Duty is to give yourself variety. Play different Call of Duties. Don't stick with only the main one. That's what everyone likes to do. They like to just play the newest one because they want to be the best at the most current one, because no one really cares how good you are in the older Call of Duties anymore. They only care how good you are in the current one. But if you want to have fun and you want to just enjoy yourself, give yourself some variety. Go back to Black Ops 4. Go to Modern Warfare. Go to any of the older Call of Duties, ones that are still playable, of course. Not all of them are still very playable right now, but just go back and just have some experiences. Go play other games. Go outside. I don't know. You don't have to play Cold War all day. I feel like the people who hate this game the most are the ones that force themselves to play it like 4+ hours a day. Take a break if you don't like it. Just take a break. It's not that hard. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.